just die. Drink away your pain, come until your balls are drained. Smoke so much dope, you fry out your brain, and then you die. Yeah, you die.
Welcome everyone.
Thank you.
Broward Art Gallery. I'm going to first introduce you to Tina, our president, who has allowed me to put on this lovely party function tonight.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. And tonight is the poetry event. Is it on? I don't really know.
Yes. No, you
Yeah. Okay. We're so happy you came by. This is going to be fun. We did something similar last year, and it was so much fun. Everyone made their own, and you get to enjoy everyone else's insight on something you might not be familiar with. So, if you haven't been here before, we have a monthly event, an exhibit. The next one coming up is the Spring Fling. Tomorrow is the intake for it. And it will be May 3rd is the opening reception, which is also the same day as Susan Gasparo's Alcohol Inc. I think she's on Nimo paper. It teaches you how to use alcohol in case you didn't know and you don't want to buy everything. And that will be in the early part of the day in the opening reception for the Spring Fling is that evening. And then Tropical Paradise exhibit. Let's see, the deadline is May 14th. So that one's about everything to do with South Florida. Anything you can think of in this area. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Suzetta.
Thank you, Tina. Now, the first poet I want to welcome did 3 pieces.
Overachiever.
He did Ruth. Ruth is here. Is it time to go in? And I'm going to point in this general direction. He also did Danilo Martin's Levels, which is on the lovely thing in the middle to the side. And also Linda Londa's Waiting for Spring, which is right above the red piece behind Kathy. So, and just to let you know, he does have a book called Money, which is very funny because I have a copy. I'd like to help me welcome Rick McKenzie.
Thank you so much.
And use either way.
So Ruth's right there in the middle, called Is It Time to Go In? Well titled. When the mood washes deep and nights soaking in, the last calls are pregnant. Hearts fill up with time, and time becomes empty. Sleep. Sleep, dreaming sleep. Next is the little gray bird at the top, right there. And that bird is waiting for spring. In the snowfield, feathers all fluffed against the vast zero. Life from the seeds pump the warm, tiny as it sits quiet, knowing the future. And levels you can't see. It's around the corner and it's birds on telephone wires. Several levels of birds on telephone wires. How constantly they show us these deliberate displays that change on each occasion. There is, perhaps, one person who counts, graphs, and listens, and has done for a lifetime. that person will not tell us not one thing.
Thank you, Rick. Now, he mentioned Danilo's levels, Danilo Martins. Another poet wrote on it, but she couldn't make it, Susan Malone. And Julia from FAU, she's a graphic design major, will read it on for Susan Malone. So please give her a warm welcome.
This is wire on a wire. Is there something in avian law that requires the popular practice of sitting on wires? Is it understood hours in advance that they'll meet? Do they all get a call? Do they all get a tweet? Do they have assigned places on high or low lines? And is your position up there what defines whether you're cool or hang out with the nerds? Is it expected that all of the birds in the flock will arrive? And how long will they wait till they give up on Frank, who's consistently late? Do they gather up there to exchange information? Or is it a short afternoon celebration? To me, each dark spot on the straight string suggests a note of a song they'll compose in their nests.
Okay. Thank you, Julia. I'm going to welcome Deborah DeNicola. She used Lexi's Eagle in the Sky for her inspiration poem. She also have a book called The Impossible. She will read one of her poems from it that won in the Los Angeles Book Festival. So help me welcome Deborah.
Lexi, was that her name?
Yeah, Lexi.
Yes, she had actually 2 paintings of eagles, and I actually working on a vulture poem. So I took some inspiration from Ruth, so this is called Vulture. When the bird knows he's ugly and huge, when he feels his tattered wings so black they're blue, so dark the sky gives up its ruined panorama to his ragged shadow on sand. He'd rather be the barracuda no one sees, in the high crags where he sketches his vortex, in his underworld above ground. He thinks his legacy, worlds away from the hunter, his grandfather, an Egyptian guide, and how his oldest ancestors healed, summoned in dreams to awaken the blind and dumb. He thinks himself flesh's custodian, honoring those who succumb to exposure, the abducted victims of men dragged naked and left in abandoned fields, hidden by logs and leaves. When he pulls back the knot of his hair and feeds his wayward children, his heart is a wingspan, enormous. Walled within is the larger hunger. Sorry for vultures, because they get a bad rap, but they do good work making compost and whatnot. I'm just going to read the first poem in this book, which is called Feng Shui for Lovers. Let the sun pour in from the east to drape your foyer. Face the Matisse nude opposite the bed and light the cherub sconces on the mantel. Align the frangipani nebulizer on the kitchen chopping block so it will waft into the bath. Place the candles on the stairway, and with each step your hubba will move farther into fire. Play Edith Piaf on the iPod and leave the Pinot Noir at room temp. String the ceiling with glow-in-the-dark stars. Slide onto the settee, wing one leg up, flip an elbow out, and point to the bedroom with a stationary toe. On the nightstand, leave Shakespeare's sonnets. Leave some fallen petals across the marble tiles. Half mask the window so that the perfume of your lilac tree will mist the glass.
Wow. That's cool. That was really
Thank
cool.
you, Deborah.
Yeah, this is a fine book.
So that's her new book. Yeah, you hold it up, hold it up. So before I introduce the next poet, I'd like to let you know I'm also a poet. So I'm going to share one that I did, Lana's Christoff Helping View. Hey Lana, I like your jeans and your style. You seem to enjoy the tropical life. From Hemingway Hangout, you caught my eye, and I will look for your entry every time that I visit the gallery and browse the artwork. I browse to escape the blues of a cruel world and any bad news, and I love when creativity is explored. This pelican and paddling and this view of the lush vegetation, I imagine the breeze swaying the fronds of the coconut trees, and for a moment, the world is at peace. That was Lana. Shanique, I know you're taking pictures. Do you want me to jump to somebody else and then come back to you? Are you ready? Okay. So Shanique, give her an introduction. She did 2 poems. All the Pretty Birds, which is that one over there with the blue and the birds on the different things. And also LuRu's Magical Portal. She is an artist that belongs to Broward Art Guild, and she's a poet also. So she does have an upcoming book, and she will tell us more. Okay. So I did start with All the Pretty Birds, and then I'm gonna have Magic Portal again when you end with Magic Portal.
Well, I've always written poems just for my journal, for my mental state, but never really tried to talk to people or share it. So I recently decided to put all my poems together and write a book. We'll get to that later. I was inspired by for All the Pretty Birds, and it's over there. And I titled it For the Pretty Birds, A Sacred Metamorphosis. Tender, fragile, and strong, rooted in spirituality. She was reborn after heartbreak, betrayal, and failure. There was a time she broke open, not in weakness, but as a seed was split to grow. She surrendered to transformation, not with force, but with a quiet grace, a soft unraveling of what no longer served her. Vulnerable yet calm in her resilience, like water that yields but carves through mountains. Over time, she found a sacred metamorphosis. From the stillness, birds emerged. They rose from the hollows of her sorrow, from the ribcage where grief once nested. Symbols of freedom, spirit, and transcendency. They took flight in spirals of light, carrying with them the echoes of who she used to be. In their wings, she saw her fruit, that even came as a higher purpose. She had been caged once by illusions, by longing, by the need to be enough. But now, liberated, she carried only the memory, not the weight. The cage hung behind her like a story she no longer needed to tell. It's over there. Through this journey, she did not resist the descent. She mastered it, diving into the underworld of her wounds and climbing out with the treasure of knowing. She emerged, not untouched, but transformed. This is the spiritual alchemy of womanhood, the holy paradox, old in both grief and grace in the same breath. She learned to endure without losing her beauty. She dared to feel deeply without being broken. And she rebelled not in spite of heartbreak, but because of it. In her flight, she did not fall. She flew in reverse, returning to the self she had always been before the world told her otherwise. This is the moment before full emergence. This is the breath before the bloom. This is rebirth. This is her sacred metamorphosis.
Thank you, Shanique. And in keeping with the magic portal, our next poet is also an artist here at Broward Art Gallery. He's known for sketchbook artist. He did a recent autism event. So help me welcome David Miller.
Go, David!
Thank you very much. This one, okay, that sounds pretty good. So I wish I would have printed mine, but I have it in my phone. Of course. What would I do without technology? So when I came into the Art Guild, not flock, what am I trying to say? Birds of a feather.
Flock together.
Yeah, true. But the name of the exhibit is For the Birds. I'm sorry, I didn't even remember the name of the thing. But when I came in, this one grasped me, you guys. This one grasped me because I love the color and portal. That word just means something as well, portal. And then I don't know if you guys ever watched these old Chinese films where the villain is defeated and y'all ever saw, I don't know if you know of Ninja Turtles, the character called the Shredder, he was always like, I'll get you turtles. That's what I felt when I saw that. I'm like, wow, he's gonna return. So, with that being said, my poem is called When the Crow Meets the Phoenix. All right. Can anybody tell me what they think of when they think of a crow? Like symbolically, maybe even spiritually, or anything what a crow means? I'm trying to get a feel for what we already know, because my poem is a little dark, and I don't want y'all to see me as a weirdo. Anybody know what a crow?
Bad luck.
Bad luck. I've seen it. Anybody seen the movie The Crow? Okay, good. So it deals with death, unfortunately. What about the phoenix? Anybody understand the phoenix in a sense?
Rebirth.
Rebirth. That's a great word. I think that's something. So now, I'm not gonna sit here and drag y'all all night with commentary. But when the phoenix, I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. No, when the crow meets the phoenix. So please bear with me, as this has not been practiced that much. All right. So,
Miraculously, there it is.
oh, wow, look at that. So, when the crow meets the phoenix, life is all about fun, getting high, and being naughty. Party so much that you get a weak body, just die. Drink away your pain, come until your balls are drained. Smoke so much dope, you fry out your brain, and then you die. Yeah, you die. Mama says she's proud, father's just not around. Friends not allowed, but you are. You control the crowd, but then you die. Just die. Life is nothing like expected. You never feel respected, but you've always been the best, so you're gonna get elected. And then what? You die. Yeah, you die. Glory of the wind, victory, you can fly, but then you die. Agony of defeat, wanna just die? A phoenix replied, I'm back, and you know why. Yeah, you know why. That's the hit. So that was kind of an entendre, phoenix meaning he'll be back, and then the whole you know why, because he deals with death. The phoenix possibly would be related to a crow. So, yeah, sorry if you feel like I said die a lot, but that's what I got from the picture. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David.
Excellent. Awesome.
So next up, Faustina couldn't be here. She has the "Oh, can I please paint" collage, over the table. If you can see it all the way down there. So I'm asking Maria, she's one of the FAU students. She does studio art, is her major, and it's a nice look. So please enjoy.
You are.
Studio art, right? Am I correct? Okay, I just want to get her on.
Oh, and I please with sugar and cup. Her young eyes looked at more. Her dreams and wishes looked towards the sky, and they became real.
Oh!
Yes, that's like William Carlos Williams,
Wow.
wheelbarrow. So yeah, that was pretty good. So just to give you an idea what inspired me to want to do the expressive poetry, last year I saw this one, it's from Anne, who's sitting right there, called Love. And I had to do something for a poetry contest, a poetry project. And I wrote, "A simple rose drew me in. I know what you represent. The use of gold so sparingly, an outline of elegance. Like garnish atop an exquisite dish. A rose atop, a background in ruby red. I think of pharaohs in their outfits denoting their prosperity and sophistication. The finest apparel for the occasion, like Egyptian linen or silk rose woven with fanciful embroidered gold threads. Acrylic paint resembling a fancy amulet. The simple rose drew me in with its sophistication." And also has the American Eagle, which is a pencil on that right here. There's second, I don't know what you call these things in the middle. Yeah, it's right there. Towers, sorry. So for the American Eagle, I have not as colorful as the others, as just pencil and paper. Shades of gray help you capture this raptor in all its strength and resonance. There is something about your subject. There's something that links you to this keen-eyed eagle in the piece. You choreograph depth and light to a T. Yet a divide that echoes the world outside may separate us politically, but we can both escape to this place where pencils, pastels, photography, watercolors, oils, acrylic, sculpture, and mixed media unite us in creativity. So I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I hope I can do this again. Tina!
Do what you want.
So, there's still some food left, please. Enjoy yourself.